Okay, so we're returning to open session. We're gonna convene as sewer commissioners. We have a motion to convene as sewer commissioners.
So moved.
There's a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Joe, do you have anything you want to say about these?
I have nothing to add. In your packet, you have the approved abatement or the abatements that were recommended approval on.
Okay,
Hope you have any individual questions on them.
so there, in these, there are recommendations. Most of them are yes. There are a few no for reasons they don't follow our policy.
Yep.
Anyone have anything to say? Seeing no one, go ahead and a motion.
I make a motion to accept the recommendations of the BPW sewer abatements.
Do I have a second?
A second with,
Yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to hear about this, was it Scan Enterprises? Is that actually a no?
That's a no, that one, it hasn't, invoice hasn't been paid and the request has been to calculate it based on water consumption, which is not part of our policy.
Okay, it didn't say no anyway.
It's because we don't even consider it.
Okay.
I did get
That's
it.
it.
That it was paid.
Okay, so it is paid now, but it's still no recommendation.
Thank you.
Okay, I have a hand up.
Oh, you know what? I do have that one other thing. If I may.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, there's people, Michael and Beth. I don't want to.
Yeah, go ahead. This is a public document, so.
Right. Well, they said they use the house 2 weekends a month. It's like 24 times a year. That doesn't.
No, it doesn't mean our.
Okay.
It has to be empty.
Okay. Well, I mean, we're saying yes to them.
No, we're saying.
Okay, good.
No.
Two items.
Yeah, there's two.
Oh, yeah, I see, okay. I want to make sure that was eight.
No.
I think that's plenty of time.
Richard, go ahead. Richard, you're on, muted to speak. One more try, Richard. So we have a motion and a second, all in favor?
All right,
Unanimous. Next motion is to convene back as select board.
I make a motion to convene as select board.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next is select board's announcements and statements.
There's plenty going on. I just wanted to take a moment to comment on the ice raids that's been occurring through the county this week, as well as the bomb threat that was called in the in-state drag story hour. An organization that I know has also done performances down here in Great Barrington. Honestly, a bit of a loss for words at some of it, but it's a scary time. And I encourage everyone to know the rights and able to defend themselves properly. Thanks.
Thank you. Garfield?
I just want to, we are indeed a sanctuary city, which means nothing other than the fact that we don't help or work with the ice, is that right?
That's correct, we're a sanctuary town. Eric?
On a bit of a lighter note, Earth Day cleanup, April 19th. In Housatonic, we're gonna start off in front of the Ramsdale Library. We'll start meeting there around 8:30 and send everybody off around 9. So it's a Saturday, April 19th in Housatonic. It's gonna be town-wide as well, so there'll be bags available for everybody in Great Barrington also.
That's terrific, I have.
Where are those hours again?
In Huzi, we're gonna do it from 9 to basically 12, but the bags will be available all day and people are welcome to do it all weekend if they would like.
What's the town wide?
Just people in Great Barrington as well.
Right, the same hours or,
Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
Approval of minutes, do I have a motion for the March 10th, 2025. Hold on, I got two hands up. Jan, do you have a question?
This is Ruby Chang. I'm trying to get this video to work. I don't think it works. I just wanted to know if we could separate the trash collection because some of them are recyclable and some of them are just pure trash. The recyclables should be recycled as much as we can. And most of them are basically beer cans and plastic bottles.
So I don't think I think you can work with Joe and with Housatonic the Beautiful, and we can figure that out.
Okay,
It makes sense.
Last year, we did have two separate bags, and I know a lot of people were trying their best to separate the ones they thought could be returned or recycled.
thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Richard, can you speak now? Richard, I'm not getting anything. Okay, moving ahead, minutes of March 10th, 2025, do you have a
I
motion?
make a motion to approve the minutes from March 10th, 2025 as written.
Have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next is town manager's report.
Sure, just a brief statement, so folks have some update of where the board is relative to the Housatonic Waterworks. The select board has been meeting in executive session and will continue to meet in executive session to discuss the town's options and its negotiating position and strategy with regards to possible purchase, eminent domain taking, or other acquisition of the Housatonic Waterworks company, as well as the matters pertaining to the Department of Public Utilities rate case and the manganese filtration treatment infrastructure that the company has stated that it will install. The select board is working on these issues. Please be assured of that. Unfortunately, the board cannot report its progress publicly. These types of discussions are not public discussions because if they were public, the other party would be able to know what the town's negotiating position and legal strategies are. Finally, the select board discussions are not related to the warrant articles for the upcoming special town meeting regarding purchase of Great Barrington Fire District and the Housatonic Waterworks Company. That meeting was proposed by citizens petition independently of and without consultation of the select board. The warrant for the special town meeting does not necessarily reflect the select board's position or its valuation of either the fire district or the company. So I'm sorry, but we just cannot speak publicly of where the select board is right now in its discussions. The second item here tonight is to let the board know that we have reached final agreement with the other towns regarding shared building department services. And we'd like your approval of both the agreement with the 4 other towns on the 5-town building inspectors agreement and with the other towns regarding the building inspector's office administrator agreement. So there's 2 agreements there, both of which for shared services. Stockbridge will lead the now 5-town building inspector department, and Lee, as it does now, will lead on the administrative assistant side of things.
So I think one motion to approve both shared services agreements.
I'll make one motion to approve both agreements.
Do you have a second?
Aye.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous.
Thank you. Lastly, and this is probably a moot point, well, it is a moot point, the select board had discussed possibly sending a letter to our legislative delegation to emphasize the fact that the board thought that remote and hybrid meetings are a good idea and urged the legislature to take action on that. The legislature has, both houses have approved legislation to extend remote and hybrid meetings for a few years, and that legislation is on the governor's desk. So you don't need to take any action regarding 7C.
Perfect. Okay, next we have licensing permits. So there, in December, when we renewed the licenses, there were two that we renewed for 90 days because the licenses were not being used at that point. And we also said, at the advice of town manager, that if they needed another 90 days, we would go ahead and do that. And we've reached that point. So let's start with a motion. First one is consider 90-day extension of the renewal of the all alcoholic package store license currently held by Gorman and Norton Inc. Do I have a motion?
I move the board let's see, sorry. I move that the board renew this license for the period of 90 days for Gorman Norton's. If the license has not been transferred after 90 days, the board will revisit the matter to consider an extension.
Do I have a second? Any discussion?
Yeah, I guess, just curious to, why we needed to put another extension on, and, are we anticipating any more, or where we are at with this?
What we had said at the time was 180 days would be the maximum.
Hmm.
So I think we're just meeting, well, we did it at 90-day increments at the advice of town manager. And I think we're giving another 90 days because that's what we said we would do. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Go to the next one.
So the next one, yes.
The next one is a consider 90-day extension of the renewal of the wine and malt package store license currently held by Mod Inc. Dare Bottle Shop.
So moved.
I think you
Read it out.
read it off again.
I move that the board renew the license for a period of 90 days. If the license is not transferred after 90 days, the board will revisit the matter. For the renewal and wine malt package store license currently held by Mod Inc., their bottle shop.
Do I have a second? Any discussion? I have one person's hand up, Penny Curry, go ahead. Penny, just unmute yourself.
Sorry, it's not Penny Curry, it's Paul Tazinski at Taft Farms. Just wanted to say that we had some unanticipated setbacks in terms of progressing, only because we've been in business for 70 years and some of the paperwork that it was required from the ABCC wasn't immediately available to us. Actually, as of this morning, all of that paperwork was secured and is going to be delivered to your office to be given back to the ABCC tomorrow.
Terrific news. Thank you, Paul. Thank you. So we have a motion, we have a second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous. You're all set, Paul.
Thank you.
Okay. Next one is an application for a driveway permit at 34 Division Street. Someone here to speak on that? There we go. Marcy?
Yes, hi. Is there anything you need from me about that? We're just moving.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
We're just moving a driveway from the center of our yard to the left side of it. I've been emailing with the fire chief and he's okay with it. I just have to send him an updated drawing.
Just state your name and address for the record, please.
Marcy Buccellato, 30 Margaret Buccellato, 34 Division Street, Great Barrington, 01230.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I move that the board approve this application subject to staff conditions, including discussion of recommendations for adjustment to design resulting from the fire chief's site visit
That is,
at 34 Division Street.
yeah, that's perfect. Perfect. Do I have a second? Any discussion or questions?
I will say that I'm not familiar. What is tar and chip?
Joe?
What was the question?
What's tar and chip?
Oh, tar and chip, what is tar? and
Oh, it's
chip?
tar stone, it's like an oil and stone.
Oh, okay.
Not quite blacked out.
But so it doesn't, does it stay? Like,
It's hard to-
Okay. Thanks.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. You're all set, Marcy.
Thank you.
Okay, next is an application for a driveway permit at West Plain Road. Is anyone here if we have questions?
Yeah.
Perfect. Just step up and state your name and address, please.
This is James Weber, I'm a building contractor.
Thank you. Okay. Do we have a motion to start with?
I move the board approve this application for, what is the road here?
West Plain Road.
West Plain Road. Subject to staff conditions and payment in full of any taxes, fees due to the treasurer's office
In consultation with the fire chief.
and consultation with the fire chief.
Do I have a second?
Second was discussed.
So the fire chief had some concerns about the grade of it. The width. I'm sorry.
About the width.
Yes.
Someone at my office misscaled that off the drawing and said, and drew it as 8 feet. They also went online and read that 8 feet was a minimum. It's probably only be 16 feet wide. I mean, it's dead flat. There's no obstructions, there's no line of sight problems. If you know the area, it's just, what would that be, west of the Steiner School? West.
The 8 feet was concerned just for fire truck access.
Yeah.
Sure, it'll be a good deal bigger than that, absolutely.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. Garfield, go ahead.
No, I just was wondering, because I saw the 8 to 10 feet. And I wanted to make sure it was indeed 10 feet.
Yeah, it's gonna be bigger than that.
Okay.
Okay, so we have, yeah, go
Sorry,
ahead.
Just a note on the accessibility of the ladder engine at 40 foot, that's just. They're saying it's okay, it's just they might not be able to fully.
At 8 foot or 10 foot, they couldn't, but if it's gonna be wider than that, they can.
That length is only.
Yeah.
Is that correct, Joe?
Yeah, that's the width of the driveway, and then typically the driveway regulations allow for a radius on the end, which allows for turn, so it'll be wider. If they put the radius on the end at 10 foot wide.
Yeah, okay.
Good.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Thank you very much. Okay, previous business continued from February 24th, 2025, review proposed appointment to the tree committee. This has been advertised, Chris.
Yes.
Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve Eileen Rosenthal's appointment to the tree committee.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Continue from the March 10th, 2025, an application for a one-day entertainment license and one-day hawkers, peddlers, and vendors license, St. Peter Church Craft Fair, 213 Main Street, Great Barrington, May 24th, 2025, from 7 AM to 5 PM, including setup and cleanup. Event is actually 9 AM to 3 PM. Someone here for that? Hey, Mimi, just come on up, state your name, and give a little brief plug for the event.
Mimi Hassett from Housatonic.
You want to give a little plug for the event, that's fine. Yeah, that'd be great.
Anyway, it's our first time. St. Peter's is doing the craft fair on their property on Main Street. And the whole idea is really to invigorate that end of Main Street. The farmer's market and there are shows going to be going on. We've talked to First Congregational Church, they may be doing something. Cafe Holly's doing something, and we're gonna keep working our way down. I'm not in charge of any of those setups, we're just focused on St. Peter's, but we're trying to encourage more activity down that way. Or the library, I forgot the library. So I think I've put in all of the permits that you need. There's 3 that we put in, the entertainment license, the hawkers. I've talked to James on the food, I think that was what that was. And also I just want to say that we've given you the times between 7 and 5.
Yeah.
That's not the event time. for the setup, we're planning to hopefully mark off some of the spaces right in front of the church for setup. And then move all the cars back to the regular church parking that's in the back and have the vendors all parking there. The participants, hopefully, we're gonna be drawing from regular street traffic for this event. We have enough space for 45 vendors to come in, varying sizes and spaces. And the first ad went out this past week, and even though I forgot to put the date in there, we still have 8 requests for the application. So hopefully it's gonna be a popular event.
Terrific. And we would ask you to work with Chief Story on anything that has to do with traffic
Okay,
and parking, et cetera. If there is.
yes.
So,
Do you have any questions?
yeah, did I have a motion?
Not yet.
So give me a motion and then we'll.
You want me to do a motion of
Yeah.
all 3 in 1?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's fine. Well, actually,
You want to do that?
on here, that's, process it right differently, so that's fine.
Okay. Application for, I make a motion to approve an application for 1-day entertainment license. A 1-day hawkers, peddlers and vendors license for St. Peter's Craft Fair, 213 Main Street. Great Barrington, Saturday, May 24th, 2025, from 7 AM to 5 PM for setup, and the event will be from 9 AM to 3 PM.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any questions?
Just the parking spaces that you're looking for, that's just for load in and load out.
That'll be for the vendors,
Yeah.
especially if we end up with, all the 45 spaces.
Yeah.
The setup, right in front of the church, where they usually block it off for funerals, that's only for setup at the beginning, and they'll have to move their cars within 15 minutes.
Yeah.
We're gonna set up a group of people that's actually gonna monitor that, because we don't want somebody parking and setting up and then moving their cars.
Yeah, just work with Chief Story on that, please.
Right.
Yeah.
Is this, we'll know from Chief Story if this requires a police presence.
Yeah, that'll be his decision.
Okay.
Any other questions?
That's great.
All in favor?
Good luck.
Aye.
Aye. Good luck to you, man.
Thank you.
Okay, I don't see Sharon here. Well, Sharon, I didn't see you there, Sharon. Sharon, you had one request of me, was the order. So,
Right,
so you wanted to do the Housatonic water first,
yes.
so,
Can I have a second request?
go ahead.
The 17th on a Thursday is the night before Good Friday. And I understand that the children will start their vacation on Friday. Is it possible to have it either Tuesday or Wednesday?
This was one of the few dates we could find within the 45 days, and to change it tonight, we wouldn't be able to change it because we'd have to make sure the school was available. It's just, there's so many moving pieces, make sure our lawyer's available, the moderator's available, et cetera, so this is one of the few dates.
I had to ask.
Well, that's okay. So can I have a motion that the board approve the special town meeting warrant for April 17th, 2025, subject to final review and approval by town council, and the order be switched, that citizens petition for GBFD comes second and the Housatonic Water Works comes first. Just say so moved, that's fine.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Sharon, you're all set with that? Okay, anyone else? All in favor?
Well,
Aye.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry,
I'm sorry.
just a quick note, because you gave me a slight shock that I was worried that Friday was off at school, but it's not.
No,
It's
it's
about-
just a Good Friday.
Yeah, I know, but I thought you were saying school was out that day, and I was like, I didn't have plans. But, yeah.
Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous, you're all set, Sharon. Thank you. Request from the Great Barrington Farmers and Arts Market to close Church Street from Main Street to School Street each Saturday from May 10th, 2025 through November 15th, 2025, from 7 AM to 3 PM, 28 events total. Is anyone here? Go right ahead. If you want to just plug it, just like Mimi did, that's fine. I think we've been doing this a long time, so
Hello.
it's just name.
I'm Chris Cannon, I'm the manager of the Arts Market.
Dennis Idice, manager of the farmers market.
Thank you very much. Do you have anything new to add this year, or is it about the same?
Only the town's asked us to put barricades or to barricade each end of the street.
Yes.
And we have, planned that out. We have a couple vehicles we can use, which according to our calculations, and I have a drawing that I've done that I can forward to you all, that it should take care of it.
So what we'll ask you to do in the motion is to work with staff, subject to staff conditions. That's what we're referring to, and you'd work with both Chris and Joe Aberdale on that.
Okay,
You won't have to come back to us.
okay, great.
I just have one question, and I'm not really familiar with it, I don't really go into town that much. Where you're located, and this is just hypothetical, if there is some emergency situation, if someone gets sick, is there easy egress to in and out? If they need to send an
Just move the
ambulance?
vehicle forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have people, Dennis and I manage market together, both markets, and we're separate entities, and I have co-managers, and so within the group of people, that we get needs to be moved. There's already emergency access when needed, and this would just be.
Thank you.
Do I have a motion?
I make a motion, to approve the farmer's market, application subject to staff conditions.
Second.
And those conditions are listed. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous? Have a good year.
Yeah, have a good one.
Courtney may wish to speak on this one,
The subordination.
but I can.
Okay, well, I'll let you start. Okay, this is a request to subordinate a real property lien from FY 14 BG Housing Rehabilitation Program. Easy for you to say.
Community Development Block Grant. This is something the board has done before where the board holds liens on the grant program through the housing rehab program. But in some cases, the homeowners look to refinance their mortgage or take advantage of better rates, or for some other reason are looking to refinance. And the banks need to know that the town's lien will be subordinate to the bank's mortgage rate. So that's what we're looking to do here, and applicant's counsel is on the line, Courtney Lane, if you need any other information.
I will allow Courtney to speak. Well, if we have any questions, like we've done this a number of times before, so we may not, but let's start with a motion and then we'll have questions.
I make a motion that town of Great Barrington subordinate the lien and authorize the town manager to sign the subordination document.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Questions, discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Revise and update the Ramsdale Library Building Committee charter.
So, select board, the library director and I have reviewed the charter and recommend that, the changes that you see in your packet, recommend those changes so that the Ramsdale Building Committee can do all of the things that Massachusetts Board of Library Commissioners hopes it will do in relation to the Ramsdale design and eventual possible construction. So, we proposed a few changes here, and it really lays out the building committee's charge to help the town get through the planning and design phase, review the RFP and make a recommendation to the town manager related to the owner's project manager and other things. And so we're going to change that charter and let that committee move ahead.
I make a motion to approve the updated charter for the Ramsdale Library Building Committee.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous.
I will note for the board, we did just receive a resignation of one member. I think I just saw it maybe this morning or over the weekend. So there is a vacancy. I already received a letter of interest for somebody looking to be appointed. But I think your practice usually is to advertise the vacancy and then at your next session, make an appointment.
And I saw the same thing, but I don't remember. people on this board serve certain positions, so we have to make sure that the criteria of whoever that is met.
I think that may be,
Yeah.
so we'll make sure it gets out there and that, that vacancy is back on your agenda to be filled as soon as possible.
Thank you. Next would be the Arbor Day proclamation, Friday, April 25th, 2025. Eric, do you want to read proclamation?
I do.
I know you didn't.
Arbor Day Proclamation 2025, Town of Great Barrington, Massachusetts. Whereas Arbor Day celebrates the role of trees in our lives and promotes tree planting and care. It was initiated in 1872 by J. Sterling Morton of Nebraska City, who said, "Other holidays focus upon the past. Arbor Day focuses on the future." Arbor Day is now celebrated throughout the nation and the world. Whereas trees are important, we couldn't live without them. They clean the air and produce the oxygen we breathe. They provide habitat for wildlife and help keep the climate in balance. They give us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. Whereas trees increase property values, enhance the beauty and vitality of the community. Whereas planting trees is an act of kindness and optimism. The celebration of Arbor Day represents the priceless opportunity for all of you to take positive actions and make your world a better place. Therefore, we, the members of the Select Board of the Town of Great Barrington, Massachusetts, do by here proclaim April 25th, 2025 to be known as Arbor Day in Great Barrington. And we urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day, planting and caring for trees, and to support efforts in our town to protect our trees.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Terrific. Richard, I'm gonna give you one more chance. You had your hand up, but we were kind of working along here. Let's see if you got your technical difficulties fixed.
My apologies. I didn't realize there was actually a button that shuts the microphone off. Anyhow, back
You
to
sounded
the
very good that way.
situation at 284 Main Street. What I did hear is that you accepted the recommendations of Mr. Aberdale, but I didn't hear any recital about my application and how it was dealt with.
We couldn't accept the abatement because we don't calculate based on water consumption.
Okay, that was simply a calculation. I think the name of the way you consider things is an equivalent dwelling unit. And the way you are assessing me is that each apartment, whether it be a studio, 1 or 2 bedroom, is equal to an EDU. Does that compute? I mean, am I way out there in saying that a studio apartment, 1 room plus a bathroom, is equal to a dwelling unit? So that's my
Yes,
first
sure.
point. And also, if you think about the words in its description, equivalent. So there are ways to measure equivalency. Water happens to be one. That's how most municipalities that have a water and sewer department, how they bill based on water. Anybody I've ever spoken to said, yeah, that kind of makes sense. We're not talking about the rate, it's simply the concept. And it's a method of trying to equate a single-family dwelling to an apartment. So what I'm questioning is the system. Further, as I noted, there is not even a category for a multifamily building. Now, given the scarcity of apartments, etc., you would think that you would do everything possible to encourage multifamily dwellings. It's the best use of land and all sort of other resources. So
The problem
mere
is,
fact that I put water in there, that disqualified the whole conversation?
no, that didn't disqualify it, the whole conversation, and I'll let Joe explain it, he'll do it more articulately than I am. But the fact is, we have a criteria, and in order to change the criteria, we can't just do it on the fly. We would have to have a study done. This was done a number of years ago through a study, and this was deemed as the best appropriate way to do it. Joe, do you want to go ahead a little bit?
Yeah, that's correct. What Steve is saying is correct. We could, years ago, when the town looked at how to build sewer, the equivalent dwelling unit, EDU, was selected because another way of doing it with municipalities where everyone is on sewer and water, you can use a water meter and divvy it up that way. But in our case, we don't, 82% of our sewer users have water. The other 18% do not, and we have two water companies, which we would have to get the readings for. And history has shown that between the two water companies, what a typical household uses for water different between the two companies. So every billing issue with them becomes an issue for us with sewer. So the decision was made some time ago for those reasons, which have probably gotten worse, if not stayed the same as far as complexities. If those companies would even give us their readings. So, again, the board is welcome as sewer commissioners to ask it to be reevaluated, but I think we come to the same point, spend a lot of money doing so. In any case, no matter what system we pick to build the rate pay, to build the sewer users, you will not please everybody. And in Richard's case, I understand his concern that he has small little apartments and he's getting charged one EDU, where a single family house is getting charged for one EDU. So I understand where he's coming from, but unfortunately, that's one of the disadvantages. And in Richard's case, he's on one end of the spectrum that kind of falls out of the 80-20 fit or 90-10 fit, just like someone who has a two-family house and has been a family home for years. Instead of closing down one side, they elect to keep it open. They get charged an EDU for the side that's not open. They can abate it if it's not open, it can have the money back. So, again, it's not just the reasons of consumption, and to answer Richard's question, we offered and did, with his permission, we went and reevaluated the building, and he is getting billed for 56.5 EDUs right now. The reevaluation actually came in at 58.5. So, not that we're gonna go back and charge him 2 more EDUs at this point, but, we were trying, we wanted to make sure we were treating them fair according to the standards we have.
I think the most we can do in this case is at some point, I'm not promising when, we have a few things on our plate, is to discuss another study, to look at it. I don't know when that'll be, because of cost and because of just, there's so many things going on right now. But I think that's the best way to do it. I don't know that it'll change what we've done, but it's been, I don't know how many years since the last study.
2017.
Yeah, well, not that long ago, so 8 years ago. So, Richard, I know you didn't like the answer, but I know you understand it.
Yeah, so just my final comment.
Yes.
I'm sure we've all heard the expression, if the only rationale for doing something is that we've always done it this way, and we don't have a defensible mindset, then something ought to be considered about dealing with this issue, particularly that you've taken exception for motels. You charge them differently, and various other categories you charge differently. So this is simply an arbitrary setup, and that perhaps some degree of fairness and appropriateness should be considered as soon as possible. Anyhow.
And I'll just leave it at this, Richard. You and I will disagree on this one, because I think arbitrary would be changing the rules in midstream for one building. I think that might be arbitrary, but I do agree that we should at some point look at it. Your statement as soon as possible may not meet my statement as soon as possible, but I do agree that when we can do it, we will look at it.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Richard. Okay, citizen speak. Go ahead.
Good evening, Donna Jacobs, 260 Park Street, Great Barrington. And I'm here tonight again talking about water insecurity, but I've also been told that I offended some people during citizen speak time 2 weeks ago. And I just want to say that wasn't my intention. My remarks were not meant to be taken personally by anyone on this board, but I needed to bring up the fact that we in Housatonic, or perhaps just myself, are sitting in the dark while it is our responsibility to make the.
John, I won't count this time. Did you hear the town manager statement at the beginning?
I'm sorry?
Did you hear the
I
town?
heard the end of it. I heard the end of it.
Yeah, it might be helpful to come on time to meetings before you talk to us, telling us we're not doing anything when Chris explained what
I'm
we're
not
doing.
going to say that tonight.
No, you did last time, that's all. No,
I'm gonna change what I said last
okay,
time.
that's fine. That's terrific.
All right, so don't take that.
And I didn't take that time away from you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for that. Okay. So since speaking 2 weeks ago, which left me feeling really badly, and I know it left other people feeling really badly, I began to think perhaps I was wrong. It may not be that the select board is holding back information and that voters need in order to make the decision about the water system. And that's kind of what I was referring to about the stonewalling, that we're in the dark, we don't have the information. It might just be that we haven't been asking the right questions in the right places. And the questions all revolving around what do we need and where do we need to get the help to get what we need. And we know we need everyone in town to come together, our water experts, our financial experts, and our legal experts. We need everyone. And because of that, I want to make a public thank you to Sharon Gregory, who has worked tirelessly to study the situation, to find ways to communicate the intricacies we need to understand in order to begin the rehabilitation of our water systems. Nobody knows she works like a team of horses. I've seen it, and I think she deserves a thank you, because I think she's really supporting the town and she really has the town's interests in her heart. Anyway, speaking for myself, I haven't simply been out in the streets collecting signatures for a special town meeting to move this paralyzing process along. I've been researching into water utility operations. I'm not going to become one, but I understand that it's not that difficult. What's difficult is that it's very expensive. If we have skilled water operators and expertise in water delivery, it's not that hard. The hard part is bringing it up to speed and having the money. I've researched where funds have been allocated for water systems in the state and how those communities obtain them. I reached out to government and not-for-profit agencies for technical assistance and financial guidance when we are in a position to avail ourselves of that. It's there. It's there. I've read how other communities have managed to take control of their water supply. It's encouraging, but it's not a slam dunk. It's going to take years, and I think it's possible to demonstrate what engaged community can do when citizens and government work together here in Great Barrington.
Thank you. Anyone else? Select board time. Ben?
Yeah, I just want to take a quick moment to kind of speak to Don's points and to kind of reiterate a quick thing where it's, I understand the frustration that can kind of come from the process that we're in now involves using executive session to talk to council, to come up with legal strategy that make sure that we get the best deal for the town we can't do in public. So that is the reason why. It's not to stonewall, it's not to hide, it is truly to get to the best place at the end of this process. And I do feel positive about it. We can't discuss what happens in it, but I am, as a resident of Housatonic, I feel positive about progress that we're making.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Or
Nothing at this time, thank you.
media time. Unanimous consent, you're adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.